Why did more people trust Morristown Hamblin Healthcare System last year? Maybe it's our compassionate, highly skilled ER with round-the-clock emergency surgical services, the area's only cath lab for heart attack patients, our comprehensive regional cancer center with personalized treatment plans, the only local hospital delivering our next generation of babies, and all part of the region's top-performing healthcare network. Morristown Hamblin Healthcare System, a member of Covenant Health.
This man right here helped create the SEC that we know now. I believe the two biggest men that helped create the SEC that we know now is Coach Phillip Fulmer and a guy by the name of Coach Steve Spurrier. That game was always the biggest game in the nation. The team that won that game not only had the lead for an SEC East championship, they also had the lead for a national championship. It was the biggest game of the year, and it was early. It was early. And through that, we have developed into what we are now in the SEC, the best college football conference in America, hands down. It's not close. And this man sitting to my right helped create that. I'd like to welcome Coach Phillip Fulmer.
Wow, thank you. Thank you. I should go sit down and go home. It's not going to get any better. Lamar, I need to take Lamar on the road with me, I think, you know? Thank you for that, Lamar. It's really, really special coming from a man like you, of what you believe and how you coach and how you've put together this organization. I want to personally thank everybody here for the welcome that we have received. And I figured out pretty quickly, being around the coaches and being around those players, there's a lot of pride in this school. And so immediately you got to turn around and compliment the principal and the superintendent and the teachers and the counselors for their role in what they're doing. Obviously the coaches have played a huge part of what you guys are celebrating here tonight, and that's the beginning of another season. But as Mr. Atkins said, it's only the beginning of another stage of life, particularly for you seniors. I love being around people with pride and passion, and it's been interesting to listen to these guys as we talked about the season. They're not overly optimistic. They're not negative. They know that there's a ton of work to go be done, you know, to have a chance to be successful, and that's what you're looking for, to have a chance in life. I love it when I see active booster clubs and people involved with young people that are changing their lives. And I want to say this to the parents and to the booster club, or quarterback, y'all call you quarterback club, the quarterback club and the sponsors here. And of course, I know Jack and Mike Fishman for a long time. David Weil and I have become good friends. I don't think Doyle Wallace is here, but he's good friend. There's a lot of good Morristown people here that have supported the program, and a lot of other people that I've met tonight and didn't get a chance to introduce you to. But people like you, as Dr. Atkins or Mr. Atkins said, you're going to change these guys' lives because you're looking at an example of one of those guys. There were people, young or business people in the community that took a special interest in the teams, and they exposed us to things that we weren't able to be exposed to from high school. My dad worked 2 jobs all of his life. Mom was a stay-at-home mom. We were a wonderful family, great Christian family, but our bubble was pretty small. And these business people in town that took their time and effort to expose us to maybe taking us up to the University of the South to watch Sewanee play a football game, and later on to go all the way to Nashville and get to see Vanderbilt play. Later on to Alabama or up to Tennessee when we were youngsters. Our coaches cared about us. Our people in the community cared about us, and they exposed us to things outside of what we were able to be exposed to. It's neat to see Scott here, Scott McMahon, and he's good friends with Tim Teague, who mentored my girls at Maryville High School, and in that same time in my life, it was the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, and it bonded our football team. We had a great tradition at Franklin County, not Franklin, Tennessee, but Franklin County High School. We had a great tradition there, but we'd had a bad run. And we had a new coach come in, and he kicked every senior on the team off. That's hard to stand here and say, but he did, because they had such a bad attitude. They'd been in a bad situation for a long time, and it had affected them. He kicked every senior on the team off. We had a couple juniors. The rest of us were freshmen and sophomores. And this was before the playoffs were, and we didn't win a game my sophomore year. But we bonded and we worked, and we went to Black Mountain, North Carolina, and we held each other's hand and told each other as men that we loved each other, and we're going to hold each other accountable. We had our quiet time together and our Bible verses together, and all these 50 years later, we're still bonded as men. Well, out of that group of guys, as our junior and senior year, we were easily the best football team in the state, in my opinion. They didn't have the rankings and the playoff in them, but we had 9 guys going to play in the Southeastern Conference off of that team. Not all of them in my class, but 9 guys played at either Tennessee, Alabama, or Vanderbilt. 27 other guys went on and played college football somewhere out of that group of guys, because a coach had the courage to stand up and do something that was kind of drastic and take us to that boiler room and into that gym and into that weight room and make men out of us. And it affects every one of us today. And when we get together today, it's like we never left each other. It's like our senior year in high school all over again, or if somebody's having an illness or something going on. And I hope all of you have those kind of relationships, but it's really, really special. I told some of these guys earlier, they will not remember the scores 10 years from now, quite likely, of most of the games. There might be 1 or 2 that are really special, and you all know about those. You know, I'm sure Jeff County's got a special place on your schedule or something like that, but I'm sure of that. But most of the time you don't remember, but what you do remember is those times in the huddle in two-a-days when you just didn't think you could go anymore and the coach pushed you over that hump. He wasn't pushing you over just to be a football player. He was pushing you over that hump to be a man and to stand up, and not just to be a man from doing the youthful things as you grow up, but to be husbands and fathers and community members and doing important things in your life. So I wish you the best. I love the passion that you have. Mr. Kinzer said that he didn't know the X's and O's. There's a lot of Tennessee fans out there that probably tell you that I didn't know a lot about X's and O's too. But we'll get past that. I miss coaching very much. I kind of had one of those big boy decisions to make. You get to a place in life and you think, well, I've done this for 40 years, and I realized that anywhere I was going to go to coach, and I had several pro opportunities as an assistant, or because I liked coaching the offensive line. I was pretty good at it, you know, and I had 2 or 3 college jobs that were just things that I couldn't get. I wasn't going to be as excited about that as I was about coaching at Tennessee. And the big thing that got me is I had 6 grandchildren, and I had missed an awful lot with my children, and I just said 40 years is enough. I'm going to play with my children and grandchildren rather than somebody else's. So in the end, I made the decision for family reasons. I do miss it. It's a real adjustment when you get so out of something that you've done for so long, and it was such a demanding job. My wife and I had some real adjustment time, because all of a sudden I'm home in her world. And she figured out pretty quick that she was going to put me on the 7, 8, and 4 rule. I had to be up at 7, out of the house by 8, and don't come back before.